All right, tell us about the Waltons. This was a game changer for you and your life.
Sure was. I went from the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco to suddenly becoming a household name, really. I remember the first Thanksgiving Day parade Ralph and I were in, in the old truck, and we both kind of looked at each other, and people are screaming and yelling, and we're just looking at each other. We're both stage actors, really. I think Ralph had done a couple of movies, but I hadn't done much television in this country. And we just couldn't get over it. It was kind of a shock and wonderful all at the same time.
And you were the lead actress in that series, and you got 3 Emmys. You garnered 3 Emmys from that show, correct?
I did. And they're in the Hollywood Museum right now. But they've been on my shelf in my study for many years. My first one I put in the garden because I was trying not to be smug. So I put it in the garden, and then I felt I was being disrespectful, so I cleaned it off and brought it inside.
Well, you certainly deserved it.
Eat it.
Well, you played a very nurturing character, obviously, in the Waltons. You played various roles on stage. This has to be a very different role for you in the Dahmer series. Being a very protective, loving, nurturing mother, and then being, I guess, a grandmother, and correct me if I'm wrong, in denial with a serial killer and someone who takes it to the next dark degree.
I have a grandson who's living with us at the moment while he goes to school. He wants to be a chef. And and before that, his sister lived with us for a while she was going to AMDA here, the drama school here. I can't put it together that if someone told me that my grandson was, doing terrible things behind my back, I couldn't process it. So I can understand how this woman could not want to know what was going on but in her basement, that's the thing. If it were me, Michael, and there were smells coming up from my basement, I would go down and investigate. I wouldn't just say, what's going on down there? And he'd say, well, we're dissecting a raccoon. I couldn't think of the word dissecting, but I wouldn't buy it. I'd say, well, I'm gonna just check.
Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
This is a long way from goodbye. Good night, John Boy.
Kinda, yeah, but Grandma wasn't a bad person. She was just in denial. I'm grateful to David for writing a part that wasn't that had some depth to it.